It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here. It's 5:03. I left the office and I'm headed to basketball, and traffic is a biatch. So I just figured I would record this idea that I thought of. We went to a friend's kind of birthday celebration at a brewery, and this couple that we were there for, they have some kind of mutual friends that were there, and we were talking to them a bit. And this girl that's our friend, I'm not going to say her name, brought up an interesting thing. And I just think it's so true, especially, well, for anyone, but I'm thinking particularly for my generation of millennials. I'm 33. And she said this. She was saying how, she wakes up from her job. She wakes up, she goes to this job that's She goes home. She has to figure out what her and her partner want to eat for dinner. They figure out what they want to watch or what video game they want to play. She reads a little bit of her book, and then she goes to bed, and then does it all over again. And I feel that. It's interesting because everyone has a mission since they're 5 years old, and they don't even know it. When you're 5, you're told to go to school, you go to the next grade. You keep going to school, you go to the next grade. And you do that around 12 or 13 times, and then you have to figure out, what do I want to do with my life? So then, you may go to college, you may learn a trade, you may go straight to work, you may go in the military. Whatever it is that you do, you're starting to learn how to be an adult, and you're just starting. Because it takes a long time. For me, it took a while. I lived 2 years at home, going to community college, smoked too much pot, transferred to a big school because I thought that would be a cool thing to do. Went there, smoked even more pot, flunked out, went back home, kept smoking pot, flunked out again. My mom kicked me out. And then this girl that I was dating at the time, bless her heart, took me in and let me live with her. I figured I had to get my shit together. And then I finally figured out and landed on a career path and got a job and was doing all that. Anyway, there's a maturation process. And it takes some people longer than others. And so you're learning your trade, you're dating, you're exploring that whole world, what it's like to date as an adult. You make new friends. Maybe you do settle down once you've done dating for a while. You maybe marry someone if you're fortunate. Maybe you're even more fortunate. Y'all are able to purchase a home together, which in this economy, that'd be pretty difficult. We were blessed enough to be able to do it before the whole market went up. And then from there, maybe you take some trips, go on some vacations, see parts of the world, or kind of figure out yourself a bit. And then maybe you figure out your career a bit more. Maybe you want to advance in your career, then that's a priority. But somewhere down the line, it starts to all settle in. You start to feel like, okay, I got it. I got the hang of this. I'm kind of in the groove. We've been doing the same thing. And this is what this person was talking about at the party. It's just how they are in the groove, and it's been feeling kind of monotonous because there's nothing new and exciting. They've grown into that adulthood, and it's just now a rhythm on automatic. And honestly, when she said that, I thought of the chapter that my wife and I are about to embark on, and that's parenthood. My wife is currently 7 months pregnant, and we've been getting the nursery together. We went to some labor and delivery class, and we've been following the app and learning what's happening to the baby at each week. I can feel her tummy, and then you can feel a little kick and a little, whatever squishy it is. It just melts my heart. About to cry thinking about it. And I just feel like it's this next chapter, But right before that, I was totally with this girl. It felt monotonous. I kind of grown into the adulthood, and it became a rhythm. And I say all that because many people Take this gum out, sorry. Many people my age are reluctant to have children. And if anything, the first thing to notice is that, I mean, not that you notice this, but I looked it up because I looked up some data stuff, is that people are tending to have kids later. Whereas maybe in the 60s and 70s, I don't know the exact number, but the average age of a woman giving birth was maybe 25. And now, I don't know the exact number, don't quote me, but now maybe 28 or 29. The number has been going later in life. And that's because what we're talking about, that people are wanting to kind of find themselves first, get more settled in, where back in the day, people did things a little bit faster. But not only that, having kids later, some are just not having children at all. And I get it. And that it's worldwide too. This isn't just a United States thing. Countries in Asia and in Europe, and Africa and Latin America, I looked up, they're both doing pretty good. Africa's killing it. They are having babies left and right. Anyway, but a lot of these countries, like South Korea, for example, they're having an extremely low birth rate. Less than one child. It's like 0.8 children per woman, which means a lot of women are not having any kids. And I think it's a lot of factors. It's what we're saying, how people are realizing that it's such a huge responsibility, the increased cost of living, and realizing that we don't have to do what our parents did. I think there's a lot more autonomy and kind of freedom of choice in these later generations, and a lot of people are choosing not to, and that's completely fine. I will say, though, and I'm not even a parent yet, but I will say it's not for everybody, but for me, already, like, I feel like a change is coming, and it feels good, and I am excited for this next chapter. I know I've talked to parents, and my parents and older people who say parenthood, they all say the same thing. It's rewarding, but it is hard. But yeah, it's a chapter that I'm looking forward to. So my point is, for those who are on the fence, and I'm not saying to have a child because you're bored. You have to be committed and ready for the massive life upheaval and your world turning upside down, because I know it's coming. I know it is. And for me, in 30 years time, when I'm 63, I would love to have some adult children to talk to see what they have to offer, and to look at what they do and watch them grow, and knowing that you can teach them things and help them be their own people, and then just watch it all unfold. And that literally, whether you agree of wanting to have kids or not, you have to agree with me that that's one of the chief goals of life, is to propagate the species, to give to the next generation. It's like the movie Lion King and the circle of life. It starts out with the beautiful Circle of Life song, and it shows Simba rising up, and then Simba grows up, and then at the end of the movie, he's raising his kid up, and that's how it goes. And I just think that if you are on the fence, to consider participating in the circle of life, not just for the society, but for your future self 20 years from now. And yes, it's scary. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not even a parent, and I'm honestly terrified of the first couple weeks and the delivery. I'm not even delivering. My wife is, but I'm scared with her. I'm scared to be sleep deprived, about making mistakes. I'm scared of what's going to happen and who's she going to be like, and all those factors that go into it. And I think a lot of us millennials are afraid of that discomfort. I I hate to say it, but I think that older generations, not everyone, but a lot of older generations are somehow a little bit more resilient, a little bit tougher skin, and they just kind of did things. I'm not saying everyone's that way. Every generation has their own faults and problems, but I do think that they had kids because they just like, you have kids, that's what you do. And now with our choice, we kind of, a lot of us lean into the fear, or when we see that fear, discomfort, or how that's going to change our lives, or like, I'd rather not do that. But if you're on the fence and if you don't know, I would think long and hard about what it is you want for your life, and to imagine what it's like to raise a child, what it would be like to see a person that looks like you, or to even adopt, whatever the case is, to have an influence on the next generation. And of course, this is a personality thing too. Some people may find this more rewarding than other people, but for me, I can't imagine or fathom a greater feeling than knowing that I contributed and help influence the next generation. And it doesn't, like, I know generation, that sounds like a big term, like a lot of people, but no, the people around you, and maybe the person that you may be fortunate enough to have helped create and bring into the world. Yeah. I think it's an amazing thing that we can do, and you kind of survive through your children. You know, if you want to leave a legacy, people often talk about leaving a legacy and how it's often related to their contribution, like their careers and what they've done, success and accomplishments. But the older I get, the more I see that the accomplishments and the goals of careers, you do one, you accomplish one thing, you're elated for a little while, and then it goes stale. Hell, even having a kid, you'll get used to it and it'll become normal. But at least you participated in the circle of life. Maybe that landed, that argument sounds weak, but to me it makes sense. And I'm honored and blessed and grateful that I get to participate it with my very best friend. And we're about to have a new best friend. Anyway, thank you all for listening if you did. See you all next time.